All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, folks, they're 8-7, all right? And Baker Mayfield is finally starting to get the praise that he has deserved all season. I want to remind everybody watching this video right now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were projected about 5 wins. Optimistic fans, optimistic members, media members, whatever, they had Tampa Bay around 6 to maybe 7 wins if Baker Mayfield, was a good quarterback. But most people had them hovering around 4 to 5 wins. Well, they've won 4 straight football games. 2 of those were divisional opponents. Then you took down the Green Bay Packers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And after starting or being 4-7 a month ago, you're now 8-7. And you are actually one of the hottest teams in the entire National Football League. And I think most Bucs fans watching this video right now would agree with me. They're really clicking. I mean, Baker Mayfield has done a very good job all season. This past weekend, 26 of 35, 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But on the season, he's got 3,600 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Like, Baker Mayfield is back. He was never gone. He just kind of got the short end of the stick in Cleveland, short end of the stick in Carolina, kind of rejuvenates himself in Los Angeles, solidifies the winning job for QB1 in Tampa Bay this offseason, and he just got to work right away. And he perfectly embodies what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers culture to me is, just kind of this misfit pirate mentality, but he's perfect for their foreseeable future. And, you're 8-7, and with a win over the Saints this upcoming New Year's Eve, a couple of days from now, well, you've solidified the NFC South, and they're going to have a home playoff game. And so tonight, we're just talking about Tampa Bay. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I've posted a ton of Bucs content on this channel, so if you're new here, hit that sub button. But let's try and get this video to 250 likes. That would mean the absolute world to me. So here's the thing. Baker Mayfield, on this channel, we call him a misfit. And you never really want to bet against misfits. They just find ways to get the job done. And so Tampa Bay comes out the season and they beat Kirk Cousins and the 13-4 Minnesota Vikings in week 1. And about a month later, you're 3-1. Heading into your bye week, and they go through this 4-game brutal stretch where they lost a lot of close football games. What Tampa Bay has done this season should be more emphasized, I feel like, than it is in just the national football media world, just casual NFL fans, hardcore NFL fans. I feel like more people should be looking into what Tampa Bay has actually done. Defensively, they're still a really solid defense. They've just dealt with this kind of revolving door with injuries. And, you got guys like Carlton Davis and Shaq being out for this upcoming game against New Orleans, which certainly sucks, but against all odds, this team has just shown how resilient they are. Folks, what's crazy is Tom Brady was on, he was the quarterback for this team. He was the starting quarterback. He was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at this time last season, and they made the playoffs, and they got smoked by Dallas. And what's crazy is, even though it was Tom Brady at the tail end of his career, I actually feel more comfortable and I feel more confident not only about this current Buccaneers team, but actually for the future of this Buccaneers team. For a lot of Bucs fans and Bucs analysts and, people in the Buccaneers world, everybody was kind of at a standstill this past offseason where it was like, what are we going to do? Are we going to draft a quarterback in the first round? We don't have a great draft pick because we just made the playoffs. So are we going to hope a guy like Will Levis falls to us? Are we going to trade up for a guy like Will Levis, somebody like that? What are we going to do? And so they go out there and they get this guy called Baker Mayfield, who's a freaking stud. And just like we said, got such a short end of the stick in Cleveland. It actually isn't even really funny to me. This dude has turned everything around. And so that was the big equation, is like, we're looking at this Tampa Bay team, we're like, all right, it's not the same Super Bowl level defense, but you go out there and draft guys like Kalijah Kancey, like, their defense is solid. And I still have Mike Evans, and I still have Chris Godwin, and Rachaad White a year ago at the tail end of his rookie season really lit it up. And so we're thinking, like, this is a competent football team. They just need to figure out the quarterback. And that's exactly what happened. And Baker Mayfield for me, honestly, is like just the perfect locker room leader to have as your starting quarterback. But I just think he so perfectly envisions the future of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And obviously, if they lose the next two games, that would be catastrophic, and I wouldn't really know where to go from there. But I feel like almost 100% sure they're going to take down Derek Carr and the New Orleans Saints this upcoming weekend. And it just has me really excited. And so let's talk about some things that really excite me, and a lot of it's offensively. So Rashad White is getting close to 1,000-yard rushing season. This is like the first time a Bucs rusher has done that since 2015. He's got 873 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. And even on a quote-unquote bad statistical game like we saw this past weekend where he ran 20 times for 39 yards and a touchdown, when you really dig into the film, it's like, oh, those were hard-earned, important rushing yards. And so the future of Rashad White is extremely bright. And I just never really felt that with Leo Fournette because, he's getting older. Rashad White, in my opinion, is a future star running back in the National Football League. And Mike Evans is having a career year like he does what feels like every single season. He's got 73 catches for almost 1,200 yards, and he's got 13 freaking touchdowns. And Chris Godwin, who's really came alive in the last couple of weeks, as he should, is also having a phenomenal season. 74 catches, 892 yards, and 1 touchdown. And then we get a little bit deeper. And I've got these really intriguing one-year/rookie players in my wide receiver room, like Cade Otton and Trey Palmer. We just saw a really solid game from Trey Palmer, 4 catches for 42 yards. And the reason I bring that up is because I feel like the Buccaneers offense with Dave Canales' system and Baker Mayfield at the helm, they're really starting to click right now. Baker Mayfield lit up the Packers at a historic rate. And then you take down I get it that Jacksonville's trending downhill, but you won 30-12. I mean, it was embarrassing. It was never close at any point in that football game. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, the big nitpick a couple of weeks ago, or even now, is, Tampa Bay technically hasn't really beaten a team above 500. And that was kiboshed last weekend against Jacksonville. Now I'm looking back at the games and I'm thinking, like, that's not really fair because Tampa Bay doesn't pick their schedule. They're in a technically horrible division right now. And Tampa can play. And just the fact that they're a win away from having a home playoff game a year removed from Tom Brady, where they were projected 5 to 6, maybe 7 wins, is unbelievably impressive. And Baker Mayfield would be probably my comeback player of the year nominee, but the dude's just been a stud. And it has me so excited because it's like you make the playoffs and you are in the playoffs and you have as good of a chance as everybody else in the playoffs. And it just feels so different than this time last year. Like, I'm really excited, man. I'm really freaking excited. So just kind of a Buccaneers hype video. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. But Bucs fans, how are you guys feeling right now? Let me know down below. Have a great weekend. Peace.